Oh man, isn't that awesome? Don't you love those horns? Those freaking horns are awesome. So where are we going? We're supposed to be in server. I'll show you guys what I'm looking at. There we go. Where are we at? I'm looking at the map of Middle Earth by Kozubki. He's a very nice young man, Kozubki. He's probably older than me. Oh, you guys, I've been around a long time. You have no idea. So I am either in Minas Tirith, which is bitchin'. Minas Tirith is awesome. It's really cool to look around. Or I am in 19, which means I have to go to Helm's Deep. Westfold. And then I have to try to figure out how to get to Weathertop and not make the mistake of going to Isengard. So how was your day and what is shaken? And when's the last time you took the hobbits to Isengard? Nobody's online. You guys must not like the internet anymore. So let's see what we can do in here. Look at that honky. I love, dude, those are the perfect clothes. That's all you ever need. Scandinavian karate gi. My head's killing me. I got some new meds and boy, I'll tell you what, you guys. I woke up this morning and it was one of those maybe 3 or 4 times this year that I woke up and I felt pretty good. Because I'm trying out some new meds. Got a secret for you. If I didn't have multiple sclerosis, I wouldn't even smoke herb at all. But I'd sure grow a lot of it. I used to grow 300 pounds every 2 months when I was 18. Oh, whatever happened to Zug Zug? Rawl, it was good to hear from you today. Wondering how you're doing. When I don't see my friends or hear from my friends for a while, I worry. You guys are okay. Is there anybody in Middle Earth? There's nobody in Middle Earth. I have Middle Earth to myself. Can you imagine? So scene 1, where are we going? I have to look at my map. So we are supposed to be in module player ping server zoinks 1. I can't remember. I forgot already and I just looked at the map. Now the thing is if I didn't have tetrahydrocannabinol, my memory would be 10 times worse. I thought I would have the opposite effect. I was like, no, I was like, cannabinoids are going to make my cognition worse, and it doesn't. It makes, I'm a little more lucid. Without it, scatterbrain gangbusters, no shit. Day goes by like that. But tetrahydrocannabinol with my cognition symptoms caused from multiple sclerosis, my own experience, and this is not the experience with everybody, and this is not a cure. This just simply makes it a little easier. It's a crutch. THC is a crutch to deal with my symptoms. It's not a cure. There is no cure. We will all continue to deteriorate until our lives are just shit. period. I'll be sitting here like a potato. Won't be able to answer you. Probably won't remember who the hell you are. That's where I'm headed by the time I'm 60. So let's have some fun with the freaking, can I be a dwarf yet? Let's see. So 19, we want to go to 19, and I want to get up to Bree. I want to go to the Iron Hills and everything, but I'm go through Dol Guldur, I'll get killed, take all my shit from stupid troll and like 50 orcs with little sticks. They're going to kill me in my armor with my big sword and their loincloth armor. So 19. We'll take a look around. I'm looking at the map, by the way, not the servers. I have a map. What I do is I take Kozuki's map and I make it my wallpaper on my monitor. And so I have two monitors, so I could just look at the map on the other monitor. And you see, my memory is such that if I don't have someone to play with, I'm not going to go adventuring around in multiplayer Middle-earth, because I forget simple things like T for global chat, Y for unused, C for action menu, I for faction chat, P for money bag, Q for local chat, L for chat log, F12 for select target. So I had to copy and paste that and put that on my map so I could look at the keys, because I can't remember them. Even if Kale tells me hit F12, I'm going to forget that in 5 minutes. So you see, I used to have Zug that would kind of babysit me and he would help me, and Rawl knew that, and Kale's very patient and would say do this, and he realizes I'm going to forget. That doesn't mean that my judgment is impaired or that I'm less intelligent. I'll beat you in a spelling bee backwards. And when we forget things, we eventually remember them. A couple days later, yeah. So bitching, you guys, I really want to get around. I want to go to Hobbiton and Bree. Bree's always fun to hang out in Bree. I'm just spacing looking at the map, y'all. So I'm supposed to be going to 19 and then 7 and then it looks like 33. Yeah, so we have to head towards Helm's Deep and then Westfold. Do our best. That's where we were abandoned and left behind the last time we played. That was a real bummer. Now you see, I just looked at the map. It was 19, wasn't it? I have to look again, even though I just looked to see that it's server 19. So you see, that's one of the reasons I don't play a lot of multiplayer environment. Other players become frustrated and I become a burden. And now I just updated to the latest version, not the patron version, but the ModDB version. And boy, I hope this looks okay. I've got like 720 at 30 FPS because Twitch sucks. If I use Microsoft's encoder that's right on my PC, right, I can record at 1080 at 120 FPS any of my games, anything. GTA 5, you name it. Battlefield 5, whatever I want to play. But with Twitch, man, I don't know. They cap you. And Cal had sent me a message and he was correct. Cal said you have to be a partner to stream at 1080. So they gave me a freebie for like a week and they let me stream at 1080. Cause 720 blows. Big green eggs. I can stream on Facebook and YouTube at 1080, no problem. And Xbox, the Xbox network, right? Because I used to do that a long time ago. Not streaming, but just, upload my videos to my page and that sort of thing. I've been uploading gaming videos to YouTube for years, but I never had a gaming page until this year. And so in a month from now, I think Halloween is my 1-year anniversary on Twitch. And so I'm going to throw a little 1-year anniversary party. And we will probably be playing Persistent Lord of the Rings because I'd like to play multiplayer with my friends. And Thickest is my friend. I like hanging out on Thickest stream every day. I know Thickest streams every day. And so I always know he's always on, and I can always jump on, and Thickest is always on. So let's see, checking for server transfer. Checking for server transfer. Nope, there was no server transfer because that's 39.20 gold. So, yeah, it didn't transfer or anything. I was supposed to be in 1 or 19. Cal said my character was saved in 1 or 19. Right on. 1 is minus Tirith, and then I have to get all the way home. Because the south is not my home, the north is my home. Grow a big boy beard, you bitches. No matter how short you are. Oh, Zug, whatever happened to Zug? Zug got lost in Hawaii. I don't blame him. I went to Kauai, I think it was 1990. We went to Kauai for the weekend. I happened to be in California. It was just a coincidence. And we were on Jerry Garcia band tour. We were doing like 20 concerts in a row on the concert circuit. And we sold things. And Bob Weir and Rob Wasserman were putting on a little weekend show, tiny little show out in Kauai on like some private property. It was really cool, and it was like a charity event. It was like $50 a ticket. And so we got really cheap plane tickets for like $150 and flew out there. It was freaking really cool. We just went out for the weekend. And like this concert was an acoustic guitar and a cello, right? And small and cool and acoustic. That was bitchin'. So that was my only time, was like one weekend out there checking for server transfer. So yeah, I'm on, this still is not, this isn't my character. Yeah, this is, I guess I'm gone. There's no more warlord in the land of Middle Earth. And I don't know why I have that black screen up there on top of my screen. Yeah, there's my gold's gone, my stuff's gone, so what a douchebag. Thanks a lot, Westfallen, you're a gem. Oh, that's great. So my character's gone anyway. So I'm not on server 1 and I'm not on server 19. And then there was some douchebag who just, I could have been a new player. I could have been a new player that just came into the game for the first time, and that's what happens? That blows. Yeah, it's lame. That's no fun at all. That sucks. We'll try again. I don't know if Westfallen was an NPC or I guess it's open attack world everywhere now. I don't know. Either he was an NPC, I don't know why he would be attacking me for just no reason at all. I don't know. I've never been attacked by the NPCs. But if it was a real person, you're a douchebag for doing that. Rather than greeting people, inviting them and welcoming them to the game, and then teaming up and having an awesome fellowship experience. That happened to me the first time me and Zug ever played the game. Some guy just went bonkers and started attacking us. And so I went to Zug's aid. And I think Cal thought that we were attacking this one guy, which we were, but it was because he attacked us first out of nowhere. So that's a bummer. Westfallen, I'm gonna make you famous. You're welcome. A douchebag. Awesome. I want to go look around Rivendell till we get killed by some douchebag. Well, since we don't have a character or any dough, it doesn't really matter where we go. Right? Alright, I'm a bishop. Awesome. I hope this sounds okay. I'm mostly playing the soundtrack for The Last Days mod because that entire soundtrack is royalty free. So let's see if we can get in and get some joy. So I just checked Kale's messages like an hour ago, and he said that I was saved on server 1 and server 19. And so that's where I went. Now, I didn't see any people on the server, so I'm going to assume that that was an NPC, but I don't know why they would be attacking me. I love Gondor. I'm a friend of Gondor. I'm looking at the map. So yeah, we won't be going back to 1. We won't be going to Minas Tirith. So yeah, I guess we'll just start all over. Oh, Durin. The most famous thing, the most legendary thing that Durin ever said was never trust the beardless. So there's nobody on, but there might be. 19. So we don't have any money. We lost all of our armor and our class and our tier and all that stuff. Got a good ping. I got really good pings. I don't usually have lag issues that a lot of people have. No server transfer. I can't figure out for the life of me why that black thing is there. I can't remember how to turn it off.
Yeah!
Did you see me jump? This guy scared the shit out of me. Is he going to attack me and kill me? See, I can't figure out how to get rid of that black screen. I can't remember. You hear that? Trying to figure this out. All right, I got a wooden knife. That's awesome. I hope it's magical. It's not sting. It's ting. So yeah, I can't figure out, I cannot remember how to get rid of that. Robbery, great. Damn it. Yeah, I can't get rid of that now. Escape, good deal. I can't remember. I have to look at my controls. I'm going to sit down here and give people quests. Al, maybe? Nope. Yeah, I can't figure it out, so whatever. Yep, there's a dead orc down there, over there. Cool, very cool, awesome. Bitchin'. Right on, building stuff. Cool, I have to figure out how to get rid of this freaking black thing. Yeah, it's driving me bananas. I have no idea, I don't remember ever seeing that black box up there. There we go, now I can see my menu. Trying to figure out how to get rid of that doggone thing. I can't remember. That blows. Alright, I wonder where this goes. I'm hoping it goes north. I should be going left here, according to my map. But what I don't understand is there should be a right exit. This just happened to, now I get it. This just happened to be where we spawn, so this will take us up to where we don't want to go. Yeah. Fangorn, Isengard. I don't want to go to Fangorn unless I am Treebeard. So yeah, boy, I can't remember how to get rid of that black box up there. For the life of me, I can't remember. So yeah, this blows. At least I had some armor and a shitty tier class and some shitty armor when I last played, and now I have nothing. When I just looked at the last time I played, I had like 30,000 coin. I had 30,000 in the King's Bank. And so, I don't know. I spawned on one, got killed by Westfallen something, and so I decided to spawn here. Either at 1 or 19 is where my characters are supposed to be saved. But I don't have my armor or my coin or anything. I wish I could remember how to get rid of that stupid black box. I've never seen that. I don't know what the hell that is. I just simply can't remember. I remember there's a key you hit to turn it off, but I just can't remember what it is. Pathetic, isn't it? I'm not seeing it. See? No. Ah, right? Ah, right on. Cool beans. Much better. Don't you be eyeballing me, Hoss. Check these guys out, man. Look at the mountains. They look so cool. Look at that. That's so bitchin'. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. Hell yeah, look at that, you guys. How'd you like to wake up to that every morning? Awesome. Check it out. So, let's hope we're going the right way. Looks like we're starting all over, day one. No, I'm not. Alrighty, round 2, scene 5, server official 33, so we're in 33. I get good pings, by the way, guys. I do. A lot of guys talk about crashes and stuff. I've only had a few. So I'm lucky in that regard, I guess. And my pings are good pings. There's a couple of them that are over 200, but most of them are really low. Transferred quick. Now I have to remember how to pull that menu up again. Right, cool. Right on. So, this is where this is completely fucked up because I have no idea where to go. We got to go left, not right. This ain't Weathertop. We're in 33. We're in Westfold. But I'm supposed to go left or right, and I don't want to go right. Right? You see, this is confusing. And it's not because I'm not lucid. So I just spawned in 33. I'm looking at the map. I'm looking at Kozubki's map. So if I go right, I'm going to Isengard. I don't want to go to Isengard. I have to find the exit left so that I can go to Weathertop. So this is probably, I don't know, from what I've seen, this is the most confusing place for people that play this. Now I would assume that there's a post over there, so that's got to be the post over there that goes to Isengard, right? So this one should take us to Weathertop, right? That is the Hall of the Horse Lords. So let's give it our best shot if we can make it to Bree.
Concerning the beginning of the dwarves, strange tales are told both by the elder and by the dwarves themselves.
Dwarves are
But
kick-ass.
since these things lie far back beyond our days,
I'll turn it up.
little is said of them here. Durin is the name that the dwarves used for the eldest of the 7 fathers of their race, and the ancestor of all the kings. of the long beards.
That was a typo.
He
It
slept
wasn't
alone
Durin, it was Daryl.
Until in the deeps of time and the awakening of that people, he came to Azar.
Cool. So we're going, where were we going?
Above Khazâd,
We went to the right place,
of
didn't
misty
we?
mountains,
I think we
he
did.
his dwelling, where afterwards
I just
were the
missed
lions
that.
of Moria, renowned
Bang.
song.
Boom. We can't
There,
multitask.
so
I
long
cannot
he
chew
was known
bubblegum
far
and
wide
walk at the same
as
time. No
Durin
shit.
the Deathless.
But I can take that computer
Yet in
apart
the
and put it
end,
back together
he
with a
died
blindfold
before
on.
the elder days had passed, and his tomb
But I couldn't tell you how to
was
use a
in
cell
Fringes
phone.
too. But his line
But I can do
was
C++.
thick, and 5 times an heir was born in his house, so like his forefather.
Weird, huh?
that he
So where are we
received the
going?
name of Durin.
I don't know. I can't remember
was
where we
indeed
went to.
held by the
We
dwarves
should be
who
headed
confessed
towards
the
Bree.
For they have many strange tales and beliefs concerning themselves and their fate in the world. After the end of the First Age, the power and wealth of Khazâd was much increased, for it was enriched by many people and much lore and craft when the ancient cities of Nogrod and Belegost in the Blue Mountains were ruined at the breaking of Thangorodrim. The power of Moria endured throughout the Dark Years, and the dominion of Sauron, for though Eregion was destroyed and the gates of Moria were shut, the holes of Khazad were too deep and strong, and filled with a people too numerous and valiant for Sauron to conquer from without. Thus its wealth remained long unravished, though its people began to dwindle. It came to pass that in the middle of the Third Age, Durin was again its king, being the 6th of that name.
I can't see.
The power of Sauron, servant of Morgoth, was then again growing in the world.
I should
Though
be
the
going
shadow
to
in the forest that
39.
looked towards Moria was not yet known for what it was. All evil things were stirring. The dwarves delved deep at that time, seeking beneath Barazingbar of Mithril, the metal beyond price that was becoming yearly ever harder to win. Thus, they roused from sleep a thing of terror that, flying from Thangorodrim, had lain hidden at the foundations of the earth since the coming of the host of the West. A Balrog of Morgoth. Durin was slain by it, and the year after Nain the First his son, and then the glory of Moria passed, and its people were destroyed or fled far away. Most of those that escaped made their way to the north, and Thrain the First, Nain's son, came to Erebor, the lonely mountain, near the eastern eaves of Mirkwood, and there he began new works and became king under the mountain. In Erebor he found the great jewel, the Arkenstone, heart of the mountain, but Thorin the First, his son, removed and went into the far north to the Grey Mountains, where most of Durin's folk were now gathering. For those mountains were rich and little explored, but there were dragons in the wastes beyond. And after many years they became strong again and multiplied, and they made war on the dwarves and plundered their wares. At last,
So yeah,
Dain
we're
the
well, there's
First, together with Thrall, his second son, was slain at the door of his hall by a great cold drake.
I have to
Not
remember
long
how to
after,
get where we're
most
going.
of Durin's folk abandoned the Grey Mountains. Dain's son went away with many followers to the Iron Hills. But Thrall, Dain's heir, with Borin, his father's brother, and the
Wow,
remainder of
awesome.
the people, returned to Erebor. To the great hall of Thrain, Thrall brought back the Arkenstone, and he and his folk prospered and became rich. And they had the friendship of all men that dwelt near, for they made not only things of wonder and beauty, but weapons and armor of great worth. And there was great traffic of ore between them and their kin in the Iron Hills. Thus the Northmen who lived between Kelduin, River Running, and Karnen, Redwater, became strong and drove back all enemies from the east, and the dwarves lived in plenty, and there was feasting and song in the halls of Erebor. So the rumor of the wealth of Erebor spread abroad and reached the ears of the dragons. And at last Smaug the Golden, greatest of the dragons of his day, arose, and without warning, came against King Thror and descended on the mountain in flames. It was not long before all that realm was destroyed, and the town of Dale nearby was ruined and deserted. But Smaug entered into the great hall and lay there upon a bed of gold. From the sack and the burning, many of Thror's kin escaped, and last of all, from the halls by a secret door, came Thror himself and his son Thrain II. They went away south with their family into long and homeless wandering. With them went also a small company of their kinsmen and faithful followers. Years afterwards, Thror, now old, poor and desperate, gave to his son Thrain the one great treasure he still possessed, the last of the 7 rings. And then he went away, with one old companion only, named Nar. Of the ring, he said to Thrain at their parting,
"This may prove the foundation of a new fortune for you yet. Well, that seems unlikely, but it needs gold to breed gold. Surely you do not think of returning to Erebor?"
said Thrain.
"Not at my age,"
said Thror.
"Our vengeance on Smaug I bequeath to you and your sons. I am tired of poverty and the scorn of men. I go to see what I can find."
He did not say where. He was little crazed perhaps with age and misfortune, and long brooding on the splendor of Moria in his forefathers' days. Or the ring, it may be, was turning to evil now that its master was awake, driving him to folly and destruction. From Dunland, where he was then dwelling, he went north with Nar, and they crossed the Redhorn Pass and came down into Azanun Bizar. When Thror came to Moria, the gate was open. Nar begged him to beware, but he took no heed of him, and walked proudly in as an heir that returns. But he did not come back. Nar stayed nearby for many days in hiding. One day he heard a loud shout and a blare of a horn, and a body was flung out of the steps. Fearing that it was Thror, he began to creep near. But there came a voice from within the gate.
"Come on, weirdling! We can see you, but there is no need to be afraid today. We need you as a messenger."
Then Nar came up and found that it was indeed the body of Thror, but the head was severed and lay face downwards. As he knelt there, he heard orc laughter in the shadows, and the voice said,
"If beggars will not wait at the door, but sneak in to try thieving, that is what we do to them. If any of your people poke their foul beards in here again, they will fare the same. Go and tell them so. But if his family wish to know who is now king here, the name is written on his face. I wrote it. I killed him. I am the master."
Then Nar turned the head and saw branded on the brow in dwarf runes so that he could read it, the name Azog. That name was branded in his heart and in the hearts of all the dwarves afterwards. Nar stooped to take the head, but the voice of Azog said,
"Drop it! Be off! Here's your fee, beggar beard!"
A small bag struck him. It held a few coins of little worth. Weeping, Nar fled down the silver load, but he looked back once and saw that orcs had come from the gate and were hacking up the body and flinging the pieces to the black crows. Such was the tale that Nar brought back to Thrain, and when he had wept and torn his beard, he fell silent. 7 days he sat and said no word. Then he stood up and said,
"This cannot be borne!"
That was the beginning of the war of the dwarves and the orcs, which was long and deadly, and fought for the most part in deep places beneath the earth.
So what'd you guys
Thrain at once
notice
sent
just now?
messengers bearing the tale, north, east, and west.
MS awareness message of the
It
day.
was 3 years before the
I couldn't
dwarves had
remember
mustered
how
their
to
strength. Durin's folk gathered all their
turn those menus off and stuff like that, but I remembered where the exit was. See, so it's random. I couldn't remember C. That C did something.
host, and
Cool.
they were joined by great forces sent from the houses of other fathers. For this dishonor to the heir of the eldest of their
Yeah.
race filled them with
Better look
wrath.
at the map again. Yeah,
The
before I
road
go
was
to the last
They assailed
bridge.
and sacked one
Yeah,
by
that
one
will take
all
us
the
to
strongholds
Rivendell.
of the orcs
And
that
I
they
don't
could,
want to go to
from
Carn
Gundabad
Dûn,
to the Glad.
so I'm not really sure if I'm
Both
going to
sides
the
were
right
pitiless,
exit or not.
and there was death,
I don't want to go to
cruel
Carn
deeds
Dûn.
by dark and by night.
I don't want to go to Rivendell.
But the dwarves had the victory through their strength and their matchless weapons, and the fire of their anger as they hunted for Azog in
So
every
there
den
should be
under the
1,
mountain.
2, 3, 4
At
exits.
last, all the orcs
The
that
one
fled
that we
before
came
them were
from, and
gathered
then
in
3
Mordor,
others.
and the dwarf
I see
host in
this one.
pursuit
I
came
know
to
where this one is.
Azanul-Bizar.
So I
That
guess
was
I'll
a
walk
great
around
vale
this
that lay
map for
between
another
the
hour
arms of
trying
the
to find the
mountains,
other exits.
about the lake of Keled Zaram, and
Nah.
had been of old part of the kingdom of Khazâd. When the dwarves saw the gate of their ancient mansions upon the hillside, they sent up a great shout like thunder in the valley.
So there's 2 of them, and
But
I
a
don't
great
know
host
which
of
is
forces
which,
was arrayed
where
on the
they
slopes
go.
above them, and out of the gates poured a multitude of orcs
No
that had been
idea.
held back by Azog for the last need. At first, fortune was against the dwarves, for it was a dark day of winter without sun, and the orcs did not waver, and they outnumbered their enemies and had the higher ground. So began the Battle of Azanul-Bizar.
So I guess we're gonna take the right
At the
one
memory of
because
which the orcs
we might be
still
going to
shudder when it
Rivendell.
rolls.
Hopefully.
The first
We're
assault
not
of the
going to
vanguard led by
Carn Dûn.
Thrain was thrown back with Ross.
That'll
and
really
Thrain was
take
driven
even
into a
more
wood of
jam
great
out of my
trees
donut.
That then still grew not far from Keled Zaram. There Frerin, his son, fell, and Funding, his kinsman, and many
Okay, I
others,
can't
and both Thrain and
Hit
Thorin were
nothing
wounded.
there.
It is said
There
that
we
Thorin's
go.
shield was cloven, and he cast it away, and he hewed off with his axe a branch of an oak, and held it with his left hand, to ward off the strokes of his foes, or to wield as a club. In this way he got his name. Elsewhere the battle swayed to and fro with great slaughter, until at last the people of the Iron Hills turned the day. Coming late and fresh into the field, the mailed warriors of Nine, Gror's son, drove through the orcs to the very threshold of Moria,
16.
crying as they hewed down with their mattocks all who stood in their way. Then Nine stood before the gate and cried with a great voice,
I went to Rivendell. I didn't want to go to Rivendell.
If you are in, come out! Or is the play in the valley too rough?
Thereupon Azog came forth, and he was a great orc with a huge iron-clad head, and yet agile
So
and
left would have
strong.
been Carn Dûn, so
With
the
him
way
came
back
many
to
like him,
Bree is
the
a
fighters of his
different
guard.
direction.
And as they engaged
It
Nine's
must have
company,
been, yeah,
he
I know
turned to
where.
Nine
I
and
should have
said,
taken a left.
Yet another beggar at my doors!
Because
Must
Weathertop
I
should be
grant
up on the
you
right,
With that
I
he
think.
rushed at
When you go to
Nine.
the exit towards
But Nine was
Bree.
half blind with
I
rage,
hate that
and
A,
also
though.
very weary with battle. Whereas Azog was fresh, and fell, and full of guile. Soon Nine made a great stroke with all his strength that remained, but Azog darted aside and kicked Nine's leg, so that the mattock splintered on the stone where he had stood, but Nine stumbled forward. Then Azog with a swift
16.
swing hewed his neck. His mail collar withstood the edge, but so heavy was the blow that Nine's neck was broken, and he fell. Then Azog laughed, and he lifted up his head to let forth a great yell of triumph. But the cry died in his throat, for he saw that all his host in the valley was in a rout, and the dwarves went this way and that, slaying as they would, and those that could escape from them were flying south, shrieking as they ran, and hard by all the soldiers of his guard lay dead. He turned and fled back towards the gate. Up the steps after him leapt a dwarf with a red axe. It was Dain Ironfoot, Nine's son. Right before the doors he caught Azog, and there he slew him, and hewed off his head. That was held a great feat, for Dain was then only a stripling in the reckoning of the dwarves. But long life and many battles lay before him, until old but unbowed, he fell at last in the War of the Ring. Yet hardy and full of wrath as he was, it is said that when he came down from the gate, he looked grey in the face, as one who has felt great fear. When at last the battle was won, the dwarves that were left gathered in Azanulbizar. They took the head of Azog and thrust into his mouth the purse of small money, and then they set it on a stake. But no feast or song was there that night, for their dead were beyond the count of grief. Barely half of their number, it is said, could still stand or had hope of healing. Nonetheless, in the morning Thrain stood before them. He had one eye blinded beyond cure, and he was halt with a leg wound. But he said,
Good! We have a victory! Khazâd is ours!
but they answered,
Durin's heir you may be, but even with one eye you should see clearer. We fought this war for vengeance, and vengeance we have taken, but it is not sweet. If this is victory, then our hands are too small to hold it.
and those who were not of Durin's folk said also,
Khazâd was not our father's house. What is it to us, unless a home of treasure? But now, if we must go without the rewards, and the worldlings that are owed to us, the sooner we return to our homelands, the better pleased we shall be.
Then Thrain turned to Dain and said,
Surely my own kid will not desert me.
No,
said Dain,
you are the father of our folk, and we have bled for you, and will again. But we will not enter Khazâd's doom. You will not enter Khazâd's doom. Only I have looked through the shadow of the gate. Beyond the shadow it waits for you still. Durin's bane. The world must change, and some other power than ours must come before Durin's folk walk again in Moria.
So it was that after Azanulbizar, the dwarves dispersed again. But first with great labor they stripped all their dead, so that orcs should not come and win there a stone of weapons and mail. That went from that battlefield was bowed under a heavy burden. Then they built many pyres, and burned all the bodies of their kin. There was a great felling of trees in the valley, which remained bare ever after.
Check
And
that
the
out.
reek
That
of the
looks
burning
awesome.
Was seen in Lorien.
Look at that.
Such
That's
dealings
cool,
with
isn't
their
it?
dead
Look at
seemed
that.
grievous to the dwarves.
That's so
For
bitchin'.
it was
Wish
against
I
their
could
use.
enjoy it.
But to make such tombs as they were accustomed to build, since they would lay their dead only in stone, not in earth, would have taken many years. To fire, therefore, they turned, rather than leave their kin to beast or bird or carrion orc. But those who fell in Azanulbizar. When the dreadful fires were in ashes, the allies went away to their own countries, and Dain Ironfoot led his father's people back to the Iron Hills. Then standing by the great
I like
stake,
it.
Thrain said to Thorin Oakenshield,
Some would think this head nearly bald. At least we have given our kingdom for. Will you come with me back to the anvil? Or will you beg your bread at proud doors? To the anvil.
answered Thorin.
The hammer will at least keep the arms strong, until they can wield sharper tools again.
So Thrain and Thorin, with what remained of their following, among whom were Balin and Gloin, returned to Dunland. And soon afterwards they removed and wandered in Eriador, until they at last made a home in exile in the east of the Ered Luin, beyond the Lune. Of iron were most of the things that they forged in those days, but they prospered after a fashion, and their numbers slowly increased. They had very few womenfolk. Dis, Thrain's daughter, was there. She was the mother of Fili and Kili, who were born in the Ered Luin. Thorin had no wife. But as Thror had said, the ring needed gold to breed gold, and of that or any other
Yep.
precious metal they had little or none. Of this ring, something may be said here. It was believed by the dwarves of Durin's folk to be the first of the 7 that was forged, and they say that it was given to the king of Khazâd Durin III, by the elven smiths themselves and not by Sauron. Though doubtless his evil power was on it, since he had aided in the
Down to
forging of
39.
all the 7. But the possessors of the ring did not display it or speak of it, and they seldom surrendered it until near death, so that others did not know for certain where it was bestowed. Some thought that it had remained in Khazâd in the secret tombs of the kings, if they had not been discovered and plundered. But among the kindred of Durin's heir, it was believed, wrongly, that Thror had worn it when he rashly returned there. What then had become of it, they did not know. It was not found on the body of Azog. Nonetheless, it may well be, as the dwarves now believe, that Sauron by his arts had discovered who had this ring, the last to remain free, and that the singular misfortunes of the heirs of Durin were largely due to his malice. For the dwarves had proven untamable by its means. The only power over them that the rings wielded was to inflame their hearts with a greed of gold and precious things, so that if they lacked them, all other good things seemed profitless, and they were filled with wrath and desire for vengeance on all who deprived them. But they were made from their beginning of a kind to resist most steadfastly any domination. Though they could be slain or broken, they could not be reduced to shadows and slave to another will. And for the same reason, their lives were not affected by any ring. To live either longer or shorter because of it, all the more did Sauron hate the possessors and desire to
Did you
dispossess
hear
them.
that?
It was therefore perhaps partly by the
creepy, huh?
malice of the ring that Thrain after some years became restless and
I'd like to
discontented.
turn the lights down and
The lust
turn
for gold was
candles
ever
on
in
in
his
here.
mind.
I'll
At
burn the
last,
whole
when he could
building
endure
down.
it no longer, he turned his thoughts to Erebor and resolved to go back there. He said nothing to Thorin of what was in his heart, but with Balin and Dwalin and a few others he arose and said farewell and departed. Little is known of what happened to him afterwards. It would now seem that as soon as he was abroad with few companions, he was hunted by the emissaries of Sauron. Wolves pursued him. Orcs waylaid him. Evil birds shadowed his path. And the more he strove to go north, the more
39.
misfortunes opposed him. There came a
Rock
dark
and roll.
night when he and his companions were wandering
See if we
the
can
land
find our way to
beyond
Bree.
Andor, and they were driven by a black rain to take shelter under the eaves of Mirkwood. In the morning he was
You know,
gone
I
for
just
a while,
logged
and his
on
companions
like a
called him
week
in
ago,
vain.
maybe 2 weeks ago.
They
I had
searched
all
for
my
him
stuff.
many
I had
days,
all my
until at
gold and
last, giving
everything.
up hope,
I
they
did.
departed and came
I
at
had
length
my
back
gold.
to
I had
Thorin.
like 30,000 gold. I had all my armor and
Only
my
long after was it learned
my
that
class and
Thrain
everything.
had
That
been
wasn't that
taken
long ago. It was like
alive
2
and
weeks
brought
ago.
to the pits of Dol Guldur. There
Alright,
he
so
was
here we are
tormented,
again.
and the ring taken from him. And there at last he died.
So that's where we exited. This is where we are now.
So
I
Thorin
have
Oakenshield
no idea where
became
that
the
goes.
heir
I'm
of
going to
Durin.
assume that that goes
But an heir without
to
hope.
Carn Dûn. I
When
don't know.
Thrain was lost, he was 95, a great dwarf of
I wish
proud
there were
bearing,
labels.
but he seemed content to remain in Eriador. There
Mod
he
the
labored
signs,
long
rename
and
the
trafficked
signs.
and gained
place
such
the
wealth as he
signs.
could, and his people were increased by many of the wandering folk of Durin who heard of his dwelling in the west and came to him. Now they had fair halls in the mountains and store of goods, and their days did not seem so hard, though in their songs they spoke ever of the lonely mountain far away.
Oh, I can't go up there.
The years lengthened. The embers in the heart of Thorin grew hot again, as he brooded on the wrongs of his house and the vengeance upon the dragon
Ah, we got a long
that
ways
he
to
had
go.
inherited. He thought of weapons and armies and alliances as his great hammer rang in the forge. But the armies were dispersed, and the alliances broke, and the axes of his people were few. And a great anger without hope burned him as he smote the red iron on the anvil.
Excellent job, guys. This
But
is
at
beautiful.
last, there came about by chance a
This
meeting
is
between
awesome
Gandalf
right here.
and
This is
Thorin
bitchin'.
that
This looks
changed
really,
all
really
the
great.
fortunes of the House of Durin, and led
Yeah,
to
that's
other
really
and
cool.
greater ends beside. On a time, Thorin, returning west from a journey, stayed at Bree
Those
for the night.
silhouettes, well done.
There Gandalf
Whoever
was
did
also.
that, well done.
He was on his way to the Shire,
That's really nice.
which he had not visited for some 20 years. He was weary and thought to rest there for a while. Among
When
many
you're in
cares,
my
he was
shoes,
troubled
when you're in
mind
my
by the
chair,
perilous state of the
this is
North,
nice to be
because
able
he
to
knew
go out
then
and
already that
explore
Sauron was plotting
your
war,
favorite fantasy
and intended,
world.
as soon as he felt strong enough, to attack Rivendell. But to resist any attempt
And
from
this
the
beats
east
the
to
shit
regain
out of
the
the other
lands of
Lord of the
Angmar
Rings
and the northern
games.
passes in the
The other
mountains,
Lord of the Rings games suck,
there were
or I
now
wouldn't,
only
or
the
I would
dwarves
have
of the
already
Iron
be
Hills,
playing them.
and beyond them
I
lay
tried
the
them, but it's not my
desolation
thing.
of the dragon.
Warband format is
The
the
dragon
best format
Sauron
for
might
me.
use with terrible effect.
Right on, look at that.
How then could the end of Smaug be achieved? It was even as Gandalf sat and pondered this that
Nice
Thorin
art,
stood
my
before him
friends.
and said,
Nice sculptures you guys are
Master
making.
Gandalf.
Cool.
I know you only by sight, but now I should be glad to speak with you. For you have often come into my thoughts of late, as if I were bidden to seek you. Indeed, I should have done so, if I had known where to find you.
Gandalf looked at him with wonder.
That is strange, Thorin Oakenshield,
He said,
for I have thought of you also. And though I am on my way to the Shire, it was in my mind that is the way also to your halls. Call them so if you will.
said Thorin.
They're only poor lodgings in exile. But you would be welcome there if you would come. For they say that you are wise, and know more than any other of what goes on in the world. And I have much on my mind and would be glad of your counsel. I will come,
said Gandalf.
for I guess that we share one trouble at least. The dragon of Erebor is on my mind, and I do not think that he will be forgotten by the grandson of Thrall.
Smog
The
sure
story
was
is
something
told
else, wasn't
elsewhere
he?
of what came of that meeting, of the strange plan that Gandalf made for the help of Thorin, and how Thorin and his companions set out from the Shire on the quest of the Lonely Mountain that came to great ends unforeseen. Here only those things are recalled that directly concern Durin's folk.
Nice touch, guys. Nice touch.
The dragon was slain by Bard of Esgaroth, but there was battle in Dale. For the
Nice,
orcs
you
came
guys are
down
doing a
upon
great
Erebor
job.
as soon as they heard of the return of the dwarves. and
Where's
they were
my
led by
fucking
Bor,
money and my
son
armor
of
and
that
shit?
Azog, whom Dain slew in his youth. In that first battle of Dale, Thorin Oakenshield was mortally wounded, and he died and was laid in a tomb.
Did I
under the
say that
mountain
out
with the
loud?
Ark and
I have
stone upon his
Tourette's.
breast. There fell also Fili and Kili, his sister's
Cool
sons.
beans.
But Dain Ironfoot, his cousin, who came from the Iron Hills to his aid and was also his rightful heir, became then King Dain II, and the kingdom under the mountain was restored, even as Gandalf had desired. Dain proved a great and wise king, and the dwarves
Nice
prospered
artwork,
and grew
guys.
strong again in his day.
This is illustration, is what
In the
this
late
is by
summer of that same
definition.
year,
Illustration
Gandalf had at last prevailed
isn't
upon
doodling.
Saruman and the White
Illustration is
Council
when you
to
take
attack Dol Guldur, and Sauron
innumerable
retreated
amount of
and went to
assets.
Mordor,
doesn't matter
there
where they
to
come
be
from,
secure,
and you
as
put
he
them
thought,
into a
from all his
asymmetrical or
enemies.
symmetrical composition. That's
So
what
it was
illustration is.
that when
And
the
you
war
have
came at
illustrated
last, the main
something
assault was
wonderful.
turned
Very
southwards.
nice.
Yet even so, with his far-stretched right hand, Sauron might have done great evil in the north, if King
Cooking
Dain
some
and
pig up
King
here in the
Brand
crock
had not
pot.
stood in his path.
Let's
Even
see,
as
these
Gandalf
guys
said
will attack
afterwards
me
to
and kill
Frodo
me.
and Gimli, when they dwelt together for a time in Minas Tirith, not long before news had come to Gondor of events far away.
I grieve that the fall of Thorin.
You guys aren't Dunedain
Said Gandalf.
Rangers. There's
And
no
now we hear
Halbarad
that
here. You
Dain
guys
has
are a
fallen.
bunch of fakers.
Fighting in Dale again.
You're
Even while
not
we fought
Dunedains
here,
unless Halbarad's in the
I should
house.
call that a heavy loss, if it was not a wonder, rather, that in his great age he could still wield his axe as mightily as they say that he did, standing over the body of King Brand, before the gate of Erebor until the darkness fell. Yet things might have gone far otherwise and far worse.
When you think of the great battle of the Pelennor, do not forget the battles in Dale
Nice.
and the valor of
Right
Durin's
on.
family.
Got some barbecue pulled pork in there. Hell yeah.
Think of what
look at
might have
that.
been.
Cool.
Dragonfire and savage swords in Eriador.
So that's just to
Nice.
buy the weapon, right?
There might be no
And the
queen in Gondor.
arrows. So I can buy the arrows
We
and the
might
bow.
now hope to return from a victory
18
here,
chopping
only to
damage
ruin
for the
and
bow.
ash.
The arrows get a
But
plus
that
1
has been
damage.
averted, because
30.
I met Thorin Oakenshield one
It's a
evening on
good
the
start,
edge of
huh?
Sprang.
Check out the fish.
A chance meeting, as we say in Middle-earth.
Cool. Cool. Yep, I can dig
This
it.
was the daughter of
Bunch of
Thrain
freaking
II.
hippies, man. You guys are like a cult.
She is the only dwarf woman named in these histories.
What do you
It was
guys
said
want
by
to know?
Ghibli that there are few
Who trained the
dwarf women,
Dunedain?
probably no more than a third of the whole people. They seldom walk abroad except at great need.
Comment below.
They are in voice and appearance, and in garb if they must
Did you
go
see
on
the-
a journey.
did you see the lightning
so like
strike?
to the dwarf men
That's
that the
bitchin'.
eyes and ears of other peoples.
Yep, there
cannot
I
tell
am,
them
right
apart.
there.
This has given rise to the foolish opinion among
Oh,
men
man.
that there are no dwarf women, and that the dwarves grow out of stone. It is because of the fewness of women among them that the kind of the dwarves increased slowly,
Awesome.
and
So
is
let's
in
hope
peril when they have no
let's
secure
hope
dwellings. The
our
dwarves take only one wife or husband each in their lives, and are jealous, as in all matters, of their rights. The number of
That's
dwarf
right.
men that marry
You
is
better
actually less
believe
than
it.
1/3. For not all the women take husbands. Some desire none. Some desire one that they cannot get, and so will have no other. As for the men, very many also do not desire marriage, being engrossed in their crafts.
Yep.
Gimli,
I ain't
Glóin's
got no
son,
time
is
for that
renowned,
these days.
for he was one of the 9 walkers that set out with the ring, and he remained in the company of King Elessar throughout the war. He was named Elf Friend because of the great love that grew between him and Legolas, son
This is
of King
jamming
Thranduil,
fast. I'm getting
and
kick-ass
because of his
FPS.
reverence for the Lady Galadriel.
I'm getting really
After
good
the fall
FPS.
of Sauron,
I can't
Gimli
remember
brought
if it's
south
this
a
way or
part of the
not. I
dwarf
have
folk
no
of
idea.
Erebor, and
I
he
thought we
became
went to
lord
that
of the
bridge to
Glittering
go
Caves.
to.
He and his
Bree.
people did great works in Gondor and Rohan. For Minas Tirith they forged gates
So
of
I don't
Mithril
know. I
and
probably
steel
should have went
to
that
replace
way.
those broken by the Witch King. Legolas, his friend, also brought south
So it'll be
elves
a
out
late
of
night.
Greenwood, and they dwelt in Ithilien,
It's about
and it
midnight.
became once again the fairest
It's like
country in all the
11:30.
Westlands. But when
There's
King
something
Elessar
up
gave
ahead,
his
and I
life,
am probably going
Legolas
the
followed
wrong
at
way.
last the desire of his heart and sailed over sea. Here follows one of the
Yeah, I've
last
got to be
notes
going
in
the wrong
Ring.
way.
We have heard tell that Legolas took Gimli Glóin's son with him because of their great friendship, greater than any that has been between elf and dwarf. If this is true, then it is strange indeed that a dwarf should be willing to leave Middle-earth for any love, or that the Eldar should receive him, or that the lords of the West should permit it. But it is said that
Beat
Gimli
me.
went also out of desire to see again the beauty of Galadriel. And it may be that
Yeah,
she,
I'm probably going the wrong
being
way.
mighty
I
among
have
the
no
Eldar,
idea. I remember the last time
obtained
I here
disgrace
there
for him.
was 2 exits. One
More
on each
cannot be
end.
said of this matter.
The map shows this is a 4-way, and we are at a 4-way. So I should be going left if this is a 4-way. Now, is there a way to go to the right? Does that continue to another exit all the way down up towards that peak? That small hill. It's about 2,000 feet. I don't know. So we will just have to figure it out. I didn't see any horses up here for sale. Didn't see any horses for sale, but I could have missed them. They're rangers. Rangers don't need no horses. Rangers can run for 3 days straight with dwarves in tow. That always inspired me to run, was the scene in The Lord of the Rings when Gimli and Legolas and Aragorn are trying to find the other 2 hobbits from the Fellowship. And so they're running for days. And I remember reading that, you know, in the books when I was really young. And that just inspired me. Like, man, that was so cool. They're running through the woods for so far. But doing it in a video game, it totally blows. So yeah, that's our dough. So we'll just take that sucker. Can we get this? Do we even have a writing skill? Writing of 1. I would assume I have a writing of 1 because it's green and not red. 1208, 504. Okay, so mount. Alright. So the Rangers do have a couple of horses. Cool beans. Well, hopefully this will make things a little faster, huh? Yeah, if this is a four-way, I don't understand why there'd be 2 exits here. There'd be an exit north, south, east, west. Like the Red Baron once said, the more you do something, the better at it you become. I know, he really did say that. He's the one. It is in his book. So we'll try the other exit this time. It's running super smooth. It's running super fast. The game and the servers, everything is. This is real. I'm getting kick-ass frame rates. Okay. I'm probably going back to Rivendell again. Which is, I believe, Rivendell. I hope I'm wrong. Yep, back to Rivendell. So that's not the exit. So we will go back to 39. I'm assuming that it will work that way. So we have 2 exits here, so I'm probably at the exit that will take me right to Bree, right here, behind my booty. Right? I have no idea which one we just came from, or is this just going to take us right back to where we came from? I have no idea. Go read the guides. Go read the manuals. Watch the beginning of this video. Well, it's in the guide. It's in the guide. It's in the guide. Go read the guide. It'll tell you. And I'll be sitting here looking at the guide the entire time, rereading the same sentences over and over again. So I don't know. I guess maybe that'll take us back to where we came from. I don't know. Let's see where we went. What did it say? 14? Did we do good? We did good. Awesome. I have favorites. I can't remember. Here, right? Right. It doesn't matter. They're all favorites anyway. I'm not looking at any other modules other than PLotR. So I'm not looking at Napoleonic Wars and Viking Conquest and stuff. Did you guys ever play the Vikinger multiplayer mod for Warband? That was so cool. That was the closest thing we had to Viking Conquest. The armors and stuff that those guys made was so kick-ass with that. 14, right. Somewhere familiar. I have to get a drink. My clock must be dead. The battery must be dead at my clock in my kitchen. Because I've been running this stream for an hour and a half. About an hour and 20. So it should be later on the clock, but it's not. But I gotta get a drink, but I'm waiting for this to load. I don't want to minimize this while I'm loading onto a server. While I'm connecting to this server, I don't want to minimize Warband. Just superstitious. It's bad luck to minimize when you're connecting to a Middle-earth server. It's 7 years bad luck. In Hobbit years, though. Download completed. And I will be right back. It's pony milk. Not just any pony. Bill the pony. It's Bill's pony milk. No Ovaltine. Ew. It's not what I'm implying. Right. So, let's go in here and get killed. I love it. Look at this. No armor. No money. Oh, it's gone. What a drag. Well, let's go to the mines in Hobbiton. We'll do that for a month. This guy, I love it. He'll take a swig. Cool. Break it up over here. What do you think this says? Get with it. Get to work. Get a job. I guess we'll go spend our money on a sandwich. Yeah, there's nothing we can do here, unfortunately. And I'm not going to sit in the mines for another month. So. Bitchin'. It looks awesome. But I'm back to day one. I thought there was some... No? Oh, whoa, whoa. This has got to be the right way. Guess we'll find out. Not that it matters. And so we left off in the Shire. Yep. So Bree in the Shire. Right back where we started. Back in March, I think. So my friends, I hope you had an excellent day. It's midnight. I think it's midnight if my clock is correct. It is indeed midnight here in the Gettysburg battlefield on Tears Day. Cool beans, tomorrow's Warden's Day. I'm going to be up for a while. I guess I'm going to play some TLD. Stay tuned for the video. Sleep deep, my friends, and dream interesting dreams. Warlord over and out.